A lot of people know you now with all of the work that you're doing on social media. So why don't you quickly tell us about what it is that you actually do?
Yeah, sure. So I run a company called Rent Roll Starter, and I love working with the owner of the rent roll to help them to start and grow their rent rolls. And because I've started a rent roll from scratch myself, and I did it with a really limited budget, I really love teaching strategies that are either free or almost free when it comes to growing your rent roll. So that's why social media is one of my favorite things to work with, because it's free.
Social media, how much has that changed in the time that you've been running your business?
Just in the time that I've been running this business, Rent Roll Starter, it's changed significantly. But if I think back to when I bought my first business, the retail business in 2007, I was one of the first businesses in my town to start using Facebook. It was significantly easier to get engagement back then compared to now, because so much content on social media now. There's just not as much room for your content.
There's a lot of noise, right? And so it has to be really good content to get people to actually stop and engage.
Yeah, it really does. And also something I've noticed is, I feel like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, your audience was more engaged and less distracted, perhaps.
Yeah.
Whereas now, people see your stuff, but they're not double tapping as often on your Instagram post or liking your Facebook post. They're still seeing it. So the feedback I'm hearing is they're still seeing it. They just don't have the energy or the bandwidth to hit double tap on your Instagram post.
So what are the metrics that you look for when you're working for people in the social media space?
Yeah, so I really love making sure that we're looking at just your metrics, not comparing to somebody else, because we can only ever look at like where you've been.
Yeah.
Versus where you are now, rather than comparing you to someone else, because your audience is always going to be different to my audience.
We've been through so much stress and in some cases trauma in the last few years that people's behaviour has changed as a result. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we have so much like underlying stress that our stress levels are significantly higher than they were 2 years ago, which means that our tolerance for more stress is lower and our breaking point is nearer.